This is CWECWE, and a story needs to go viral because she deserves justice. An accident happened back in October 2024 in which she was penetrated by an adult. Yes, by an adult in our school. Two people, a gardener was being tested to check if the semen in which they found actually matches. It's not. But however, when they asked the principal for them to test him to check here if anything correlates with what they found in the girl based on the penetration, he refuses.
Hi everyone, today we'll be taking a look at a 7-year-old Cwewe who was allegedly attacked on the school premises while waiting for transport. The school has come under fire for the poor handling of the case. Majority of South Africans, both white and black, condemn the school act. Watching these videos, we see how bitter South Africans are. Let's take a look. Watch carefully, step by step.
He even went further to even allow the school in which he is the principal got deregistered. And the craziest part about this is that there's a company who supports Africans, because he's classified as an African, whatever they call it. They're trying to back him up for him not to face justice. Because if you're trying to refuse for you not to be tested to ensure that if you didn't do it, why don't you just make yourself available, go for the test and forget about the story? So with this in mind, as you
So I've just arrived in the car park of my son's school. He is 7 years old and I'm about to fetch him from aftercare. And if you are wondering what the hashtag above my head is about, let me get you up to speed. Firstly, it just it's not lost on me that as I record this in my car, it's raining and they feel like tears. They really do feel like tears, because this story, and I don't even like calling it a story, has got me feeling physically ill. I've had this pit in my stomach since I came across this story on Sunday. And I was shocked to learn that I was learning of this more than 5 months after the incident occurred, and this just gratuitous injustice was done to this little 7-year-old girl who's the same age as my son. And I am fetching my son now from school, from what I deem to be a safe place. I'm fetching him from aftercare. I don't often fetch him on time, and there are occasions where I don't fetch him, where a family member or somebody we trust picks him up, and I would typically get home later in the afternoon. And if my son said to me he wasn't feeling well or was a bit off, the furthest thing from my mind would be that something happened like the thing that happened to this little girl. A 7-year-old little girl was essayed in a classroom at her school, in her school uniform, in a classroom that she had been told to go and clean by a caretaker, while she waited for her transport that was running late. And I can't even believe that I have to use graped on here, but here we are. It blows my mind that this happened at school, at a place where she was supposed to be safe. And then it blows my mind further that this was reported to the police by her parents. She did see a psychologist. The mother did go to the school and report this. And the result is 5 months later, a creator on here, and I'll tag her below, had to start a petition, which thankfully has gained a huge amount of traction. But 5 months later, we as South Africans, not even just mothers, we as South Africans are having to drive this thing and demand justice. And the school she was at, 2 of the suspects gave DNA and they've been cleared, and the third potential suspect, the principal of the school, initially refused, and what I believe under a lot of pressure recently over the past few days has now said he will submit a DNA sample. But the principal's reaction to the mother was to expel the kid. There's a letter, not that we know you haven't requested a transfer, but here's your transfer letter of your daughter that was essayed at our school, on our school premises. And 5 months later, nothing has been done about it. So if you're wondering what this hashtag above my head is, just search it. There are so many articles from reputable news outlets reporting on it. Search the hashtag. There are so many far more well-researched and articulate creators explaining everything way better than I can, because I'm emotionally charged right now. And I hadn't planned to film this right now, but I found myself pulling into my kid's car park thinking, shit, I am fetching Connor. He is 7 years old. And I'm about to fetch my son from school. I am in a very similar position to that mother on that day. And then, I want to say as well, like, my DMs and my comment sections have been inundated with other hashtags for other children who also haven't gotten justice. It's not an isolated case. Even if it was just one case, it would be one too many, way too many. Unfathomable. I can't even talk, guys. Unfathomable. But it's not just this one story. There are so many stories exactly like hers. And I guess the other reason I was compelled to film this in my car on this rainy afternoon is because I only came across this because I've started following all sorts of different creators because of different topics that I've followed. And there's a number of them who I really, really, really respect their coverage of news headlines and current events and politics and things going on in our country. And as I've been scrolling the past few days, and as I've been reposting content with the hashtag and sharing the hashtag, and I've done posts in my own way on both of my socials, I'm also just not seeing enough South Africans who look like.
In October last year, a 7-year-old was brutally SA'd while she was still in the school premises. And when she got back home, mom started noticing, like, the girl started complaining about pains, feeling sick, having diarrhea. She had been visiting the toilet often. Jesus, this story is one heartbreaking story. I've been looking for a means to say it. So when her mom, according to the description of what her mom said, when her mom was like, okay, since this thing, because she stayed that day to try and help to take care of the house, because Cwewe's younger sibling was sick, and Cwewe was also complaining of diarrhea. She even gave her some pills to take, some medication, to take to be able to stop the diarrhea, but Cwewe was still complaining that her poo could not still come out. Cwewe's mother said the moment she took the girl to the room, and she was like on her bed, and she was like, okay, let me just use my torch light, her phone light, to flash and see what is happening down there. She said her baby's a-hole, her 7 years a-hole, was as wide as this. As alleged. Her 7 years a-hole was as wide as this. She said she could even see the poo-poo. Said what she saw is not something she can wipe off her memory lane anytime soon. This is one heartbreaking story that I don't wish my enemies this. I don't wish anybody that wishes me bad. I don't even wish them this. I don't wish their children this. What can this small girl be going through? So the girl confided in the mom and her dad, and they took her to the hospital. She told the nurses everything. They did they got some fluid, like a DNA sample there, and they kept it. And then investigation started going on. There are 3 men involved in this. She was waiting in the school premises for the driver because he delayed. And according to what I heard, as alleged, this is the second time the driver is delaying. This is not the first time. He delayed on a Monday. He still delayed on a Tuesday. So while she was waiting for the driver, the caretaker of the school sent a 7-year-old child to go and sweep a classroom. What happens to the cleaners? What happens to... Is a child supposed to come to school to labor? Is a child supposed to come to school to clean the school? After she went to the class to sweep, she started perceiving, I think, a burning smell of maybe a burning tire or something. And that was when she went blank, that she didn't know what happened again. That the only thing she can remember is the caretaker waking her up, telling her the driver is here, the car is here, ready to take her back home. There was no blood on site. Who cleaned this girl up? There was her skirt, her clothes, everything was still intact. Did they conspire to do this? And this happened in the school premises. These are some of the questions we need to be asking. And let me not even forget to tell you guys, at the hospital, they checked, and it was not only there, even the front hole also had bruises. So I'm still trying to imagine the men we have in these days, the men of this generation. How do you look at a 7-year-old and all you see in a 7-year-old is what you can do, what adults play, or what adult stuff you can do to this 7-year-old child? What happens to our protective fathers, our protective brothers? Brothers are supposed to stand for us, or parents, uncles are supposed to stand for us. Now you leave your child with your own husband, with her father, and get scared? Is that where we're heading to? Let me not even forget a story of an 8-year-old that I heard. Her father penetrated her. What is this generation turning into? So since that time, the gardener sample was collected for a DNA test. The driver sample was collected for a DNA test. But this man you see on my screen has refused to give his sample for DNA test. The last time I checked, I don't know if he has given it now, but the last time I checked, he has not given his sample. Is there something to hide? These gardeners and the driver gave their sample because they don't have anything to hide. They know they are innocent. So why are you refusing to give your DNA sample? Since October, they have been dragging this thing. It's like 5 months now. 5 months now. This thing is still lingering. Her mental health is messed up. Her mom is still fighting for her. What is this man hiding? This man should be picked up if he's not even giving it. I don't know. They know the first person collects DNA samples. Why did they bobo? Why they still they pet him? I don't understand. Why are they still petting him? It's obvious now. He even wrote a letter to the mother initially, telling her that they are going to support the mother in any way they can. But that rumor that is spreading around, she should stop it because parents will take their children out of the school. Are they not supposed to shut down that school in the first place? And in a way, trying to like threaten the mother. The mother said the letter she saw, that the first page was like more of they are going to support. Then the second page was threatening her, directly threatening the mother. To me, they should hold the gardener still, because the gardener knows something. It is a joint task force. He either lured her there for somebody, not even either. He lured her there for somebody. He lured her there for somebody to carry out whatever he or she wants to carry out on that lady. They should check the teachers. And I believe she's not the only victim in that school. Parents should check their children. I don't even understand this word. You take your child to school, you are scared. Whatever you do, you are afraid of it. Because there are predators all over. People that are supposed to take care of your child. People that you pay them. You fucking pay them to take care of your child. Turns to predators. 7 years old is not even safe in your school, in your hands. A child you're supposed to be looking at like your child. I just don't want to say anything. Justice for CWECWE. Justice for her mother, because that woman has seen a lot. That woman has gone through a lot. Justice for all girl child everywhere, all around the world. A lot of things are happening. If it's not in South Africa, it's in Zambia. If it's not in Zambia, it's in Nigeria. If it's not in Nigeria, what is happening?
This is the shocking case which the whole of South Africa is talking about right now. And there's been some big updates. Bergview College, a school in the Eastern Cape, has been deregistered by the department after a 7-year-old girl was raped on the school premises. The reason the school has been deregistered is because they are refusing to cooperate with the parents and police in the investigation. And shockingly, the school apparently told the parents not to make a scene about the incident and even requested that the child move to a different school. And now the police have announced that they officially have 3 suspects, 2 of which are staff members at the school. And one of these suspects is the school principal. I can't share a lot of information about the incident because it is heartbreakingly graphic. However, the whole country is demanding justice for this poor innocent little girl, and there's been massive outcry on social media and in public.
So, a 7-year-old girl in South Africa was sexually molested at school, and the school authority is refusing to comply with the government to ensure that this child gets justice. A school is supposed to be a safe space where children are morally upright, where children are taught how to be morally upright, socially upright, intellectually upright. Now it is a space where children are being sexually assaulted, and the school authority is not even remorseful. The principal has even left the school to be banned in South Africa. That is how wicked the man is. Justice for Cwewe. No matter how big she looks, no matter how curvy she looks, she is a 7-year-old child and deserves to be respected, deserves to be given her innocence. But this stupid guy, whoever he is, took away Cwewe innocence. Justice for Cwewe.
CWECWE's story is not just about us fighting against the violation of that young 7-year-old girl. It is also about us fighting for the safety of your children. It is about us fighting for the safety of your nieces and your nephews. It is about fighting for the safety of neighborhood children. It is about us fighting for the safety of that young version of you that was violated by perpetrators. We must stand up against perpetrators that are taking away children's safe spaces. Enough is enough. There's a petition that is circulating around. Please sign that petition. If there's a march in your area, please attend that march, because the more audible we become about the injustice that happened to that young girl, is the more we create safe spaces for other children. Okay.
So the justice system in South Africa has proven time and time again that the only time a person can get justice in this country is if their story comes to social media. Someone, please make that make sense to me. But if what you want from us is to shout to the highest mountain, we will deliver. If what you want from us is to cause commotion and riot on social media, we will deliver. If what you want from us is to sign petitions so this child can get justice, we will deliver that, because we are so tired. We are so tired. I cannot even begin to fathom, as a mother to a 7-year-old girl, what that mother felt like when she went to that doctor's room and the doctor said, "I am sorry, ma'am, but your child has been essayed," and has been essayed at the time that she was at school. Ooh, I cannot even begin to fathom. We won't be quiet. We are going to be signing petitions. I will be posting the link in my comment section. I will post it in the caption, whatever it takes, so that we can get that DNA sample of a man that was in the presence of that child at the time where she was essayed. That's all we want. But this child will get justice at the end of the day. And that is what we're going to be fighting for on these platforms.
There's nothing funny about today. Nothing funny in South Africa today. And there hasn't been for a while, truth be told. So today really doesn't feel like a day for pranks or punchlines and so on. And, you know, there's a story that's just reverberated around the country. And it's so heartwarming that it has reached South Africans across the board, across the color line, across demographics, across economic status. Everybody is jumping in. And Charlie and I were particularly touched because we're both girl parents, and it hit so hard. It is the story, of course, if you have missed it, of a 7-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted in Matatiele, which is right here in the Eastern Cape. But what makes it even harder and an even more bitter pill to swallow is that the assault happened at school. Yeah. To a 7-year-old at school. You know, and Charlton, being an educator, was saying earlier that, you know, and we know this, that it's the one place where you expect your kids to be safe.
We are going to fight for CWECWE and all the CWECWEs that cannot speak for themselves. Did you know that there are over 16,000 teachers that are currently operating and teaching in schools in South Africa? These are teachers that are teaching your children, that are teaching your nieces, your nephews, your neighbors, and every other child you can think of. 16,000 teachers are allowed in South Africa by the Department of Education to teach in South Africa while they have criminal records. CWECWE has been harmed, but how many CWECWEs are going to be there until we finally stand up? So here's what we are going to do as a course of action. We are going to Google the email address of the regional or national or provincial Department of Education in your area, and we are going to ask them, how are they allowing 16,000 teachers that currently have criminal records to operate in schools? Because if they were able to close that school by saying that the school is closed because it failed to provide a safe environment for children, that means the department in itself are failing because they are allowing 16,000 teachers who have criminal records to teach our children. Giving 16,000 opportunities every single day for our children to be another CWECWE. Justice for CWECWE, but justice for every other child that has not been able to speak up. As a matter of fact, let's tell the Department of Education in those emails the stories of all the young girls and boys that we know of, that we saw, that we experienced whilst we were in school. Whether you were in school in 1920 or in school last year, it does not matter. Send that email in your mother tongue. No time for English. This is not the time for you to try and gather the English. Leave the English alone. Write that email in isiZulu, in isiXhosa, in Afrikaans, in every other language that you want to write it to. On Monday, let them wake up and let them realize our frustration. Teachers are literally using schools as a playground for them to date younger and younger every single year and impregnate children and treat our children, our sisters, our nephews, our nieces as a dating pool instead of them being taught. But also the department needs to hold themselves accountable because they don't do criminal checks. Because if they did, how the 16,000 teachers get into the system? How many times do they do those criminal checks? Are they a quarterly thing? Are they an annual thing? And also, what psychoanalysis are these teachers? I need whatever anger you are feeling, whatever pain you are feeling, to take it, put it in an email, send it today. We are not going to have another CWECWE while we exist. Ne? Let's do that.
Today is most probably one of the most proudest days of my life. The way that we stood up together and we were unified, regardless of race, regardless of political affiliation, that we said enough is enough for our children, makes me so fucking proud to be South African. The way that I can see the energy, the way that I can see the determination, the way that I can see how each and every one of us was so connected with empathy. The way everybody just stood up. It doesn't matter if you had a big account, a small account, if you were a leader, religious leader, political leader, if you were just a person that just cared. You represented South Africa today. You. To the organizers of Justice SA and every other march that happened today, you did a fucking amazing job. To the law enforcement that protected the people, thank you so much. To the marshals in these marches that gave up their time, you are amazing. But South Africa, you, the citizens, that's the people that I'm proud of the most. That's the people who I'm proud to be associated with and part of. I feel like this is something big. We've started something big. This is a movement, guys. There are so many other things. We're going to get justice. We're going to get justice for Cwewe, justice for Alu. We're going to get justice for Jocelyn, justice for every single child that we've been hearing that has been victim of GBV. Then we're going to tackle unemployment. Then we're going to tackle corruption. But this is the start of something. If you attended the march because of my calling on my videos, thank you to each and every one. If you attended the march because of anybody else's calling, thank you. It doesn't matter who's calling that you listen to today. What matters is that you pitched up for South Africa. For South Africa. I've been tagged in so many marches. I've been tagged in so many content. I haven't been able to respond to everybody. It has been super emotional. Super emotional just to see what we can do as South Africa united. I have experienced this before, but not in the way that I've experienced it today. I feel so in touch with every single one of you. Thank you, South Africa. Fucking thank you.